Pain is a universal part of life. No path is free of hardship, no achievement comes without challenge, and no growth occurs without discomfort. Pain visits the strong and the weak, the wise and the foolish alike. It does not discriminate. It is inevitable. In Stoic philosophy, pain is a tool, a teacher, a crucible. This exploration is not about escaping pain, but about facing it with dignity, rising above it, refining yourself through it, and allowing it to shape you into a stronger, more resilient person. The Stoics didn't promise comfort, they promised clarity. They taught that character is revealed in trials, and your response to pain defines who you are. This guide is divided into chapters, each designed to cultivate a mindset of strength and resilience. You won't find abstract theories here, but practical truths drawn from the timeless wisdom of Epictetus, Seneca, Marcus Aurelius, and others who faced profound suffering and emerged whole. Let this serve as a guide for when life feels heavy, a reminder that suffering is not a verdict, but a season. In every season, you have the power to choose who you will become. Let's begin. Chapter 1. The Nature of Pain. Pain is a signal. It tells you something matters. The Stoics taught that pain itself isn't the problem. It's your judgment about pain that creates suffering. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it." This insight is pivotal. Physical and emotional pain are realities woven into life. No one is immune to illness, loss, disappointment, or stress. These forms of pain cannot always be prevented, but you can shape their meaning and how you navigate them. Suffering is not fixed. It's shaped by interpretation. When pain feels unfair, undeserved, or meaningless, it breeds resentment, amplifying suffering. But when pain is seen as an opportunity for growth, it becomes a test of resilience, a step toward wisdom and stability. How you perceive pain determines whether it drains or strengthens you. Handling pain requires a disciplined mind. Just as the body builds endurance through physical stress, the mind grows through emotional challenges. This growth isn't automatic. It demands practice. When discomfort arises, resist the urge to flee. Sit with it. Let it inform you. Ask what this experience reveals about your habits, beliefs, or attachments. Pain often exposes where you've clung to, where you've placed your stability or identity. If criticism devastates you, it may show your self-worth relies too heavily on praise. If rejection leaves you empty, it might reveal your peace depends on approval. If discomfort feels unbearable, it could indicate an over-reliance on ease. These insights aren't always pleasant, but they're valuable. They highlight where you've sought control in the wrong places. The Stoics taught to redirect focus inward to what you can control, your thoughts, choices, and principles. This shift isn't instant, it requires repetition. Over time, it transforms your response. There's no need to fear pain, but there is a need to meet it with courage. Let it strip away the superficial. Let it reveal what you must confront within yourself, exposing illusions about strength or happiness. This is the beginning of renewal. Pain, when faced with awareness, becomes a source of correction and truth. Growth starts where avoidance ends. Avoidance delays understanding, creating a habit of running from moments that could strengthen you. When you stop resisting pain and begin observing it, you create space for transformation.
Pain marks the edge of your comfort zone, and it's often at this edge that meaningful growth begins. It prompts reflection, adaptation, and action with greater purpose. Pain doesn't offer comfort, but it offers clarity, focusing your attention on habits, attachments, and expectations that no longer serve you. In this clarity, you can rebuild your life on a firmer foundation. Every challenge presents a choice. Let the situation dictate your behavior, or let the challenge refine you toward what matters most. When you reflect on who you want to be, even in hardship, you set a standard. You can choose to pause when pressure builds, to be patient when irritation rises, to learn when your first impulse is to complain. These aren't one-time choices, but repeated acts of discipline. Each repetition strengthens the connection between your values and actions. Over time, these patterns build resilience. Calmness isn't accidental, it's practiced in moments of strain. By training yourself to remain steady under stress, you build trust in your ability to respond wisely. Choosing understanding means recognizing that pain often signals something within you needs attention, a belief, a fear, or an old wound. Exploring these patterns prevents them from repeating. Pain becomes a source of insight rather than a cycle of reaction. Growth through pain doesn't require complex strategies, just honesty and sustained focus. It begins with awareness of your thoughts, actions, and choices under pressure. Presence allows you to notice when your mind wants to escape or blame. Perspective lets you step back and see the bigger picture. You can't eliminate pain, but you can align your response with who you aspire to be. Stay with what's within your reach, your ability to breathe slowly, pause before reacting, speak clearly, and act with self-respect. These small actions form the foundation for lasting growth, reminding you that you're not powerless. You have tools, you have choices. Your mind, values, and willingness to learn are always available, even in hardship. These qualities turn pain into a path, giving challenges a shape that supports your growth rather than distorts it. Pain becomes meaningful when you use it to refine your character. When it shows you what you're capable of, you begin to carry yourself with quiet strength. The path to inner resilience is built through these repeated efforts. It's not instant or easy, but it's accessible to anyone willing to face pain with clarity and purpose. Chapter 2. Control and Acceptance. Epictetus taught that freedom begins when you distinguish what's within your control from what isn't. Pain blurs this line, tempting you to grasp for control where none exists. Pain is part of nature. It arrives without your permission. You can't stop it from coming, but you can control how you meet it, your perceptions, decisions, and actions. You can stay true to virtue under pressure. Acceptance isn't defeat or indifference. It's clarity. When you accept what's beyond your control, you stop wasting energy on resistance. You channel your strength into what you can shape, your response. The Stoics urged focus on the work of the soul. External events shift constantly, but your character is always yours to mold. In moments of hardship, return to what's yours, your thoughts, values, and actions. You can be honest even when it's uncomfortable. You can be courageous even when fear is present. You can remain calm even when the world feels unsteady. These qualities aren't reserved for perfect conditions. They're choices made in the midst of difficulty, rooted in your mind and shaped by deliberate action. Challenges are the training ground. They give you a chance to live your principles in real time.
Every obstacle is an opportunity to practice self-control. Every struggle is a mirror, showing where your discipline is strong and where it falters. This feedback is valuable.
It invites progress. The work of the soul is to meet these challenges with preparation and strength, practiced in everyday choices. How you speak when irritated, how you act when tired, how you treat others when you're in pain. When pain arrives, remind yourself this is part of nature. Nothing unusual is happening. Loss, injury, and change are built into existence. Every life includes moments of hardship, no matter one's luck or preparation. This doesn't make life unfair, it makes it real. Embracing this truth dissolves some of the tension that comes with resistance. You don't need to approve of what happened. You need to align yourself with what is. Acceptance begins when you stop arguing with the reality of an event and focus on your role within it. You may feel grief, frustration, or confusion, but you still have agency. You can act with clarity, return to your principles, and maintain your posture in the face of difficulty. This posture is your character. When you refuse to fight reality, you conserve energy, redirecting it from complaints to action. You build from what remains. This is the Stoic way of meeting pain, not with detachment, but with directed effort, disciplined thought, and resilient action. You stand within the experience and shape your response with intention. Through this consistent application, the soul grows stronger, living each day with self-control at the center of your behavior. Chapter 3. Endurance as Training. Endurance is more than survival. It's a form of mastery. It means maintaining control over your mind and actions in adversity. The Stoics saw hardship as a strengthening force, akin to physical training. Just as the body grows stronger through resistance, the mind builds resilience through challenges. Seneca wrote, "Difficulties strengthen the mind as labor does the body." This wasn't a metaphor, it was an instruction. Hardship is fertile ground for growth. Pain tests your resolve, forcing decisions that reveal your principles. Under pressure, there's no room for pretense. Your habits and values either hold or crumble. When you navigate hardship without losing balance, you discover your strength is real, building trust in yourself and confidence that grows from it. Endurance also clarifies what matters, showing what's worth fighting for and what no longer deserves your energy. Developing endurance starts with structure. Self-discipline provides a foundation that can withstand life's blows. This discipline isn't about punishment, but intentional repetition. Morning reflections focus your priorities. Evening journaling offers perspective on your behavior. Moments of stillness build awareness. Restraint sharpens judgment. Speaking truth, even when it's hard, affirms your values. These habits aren't dramatic, but they're powerful, increasing your ability to stay steady when discomfort arises. Preparation can't begin in crisis. It starts in daily life. Waiting for suffering to train your mind is too late. Start now. Growth doesn't require extreme conditions. Seek small challenges. Walk when it's easier to drive. Fast when it's simpler to snack. Hold your tongue when impatience rises. These are exercises in self-control, creating a pattern of staying present and calm in discomfort or uncertainty.
Endurance also demands awareness. Know your limits without becoming their victim. Learn to sit with discomfort long enough to understand it. The goal isn't to ignore pain, but to move through it with clarity. Each moment of discomfort is a chance to train attention, refine standards, and reaffirm principles. These moments build a structure that keeps you grounded in larger trials. Pain will come, and when it does, your preparation will show. Your habits, thoughts, and reactions will be tested. How you've trained your mind to handle pressure will be evident in your words, your demeanor, and your recovery. If you've built inner stability, pain won't dictate your behavior. You'll still feel strain, emotional and physical, but you'll remain functional, thinking clearly and responding intentionally. Training the mind and body creates a quiet readiness. This readiness doesn't eliminate pain, but shifts your position within it. You're no longer caught off guard. You meet it with awareness and tools you've practiced. You know how to breathe through the moment, observe your reactions, and align your choices with principles. Pain disrupts assumptions, interrupts plans, and can take what you relied on. Without preparation, this loss feels like collapse. With preparation, it becomes a moment to recalibrate. You can adjust your actions while staying clear on priorities, allowing grief or hardship without turning away from what matters. This ability to keep moving forward, even under pressure, makes endurance a skill, not just a reaction. Recovery is faster when your mind is trained. Emotional pain lingers longer in an undisciplined mind. When you've practiced focus and self-regulation, you don't prolong suffering through resistance or confusion. You return to clarity, asking, "What's required of me now? What's in my control? What behavior aligns with my character?" The Stoics saw pain as part of existence's structure, not a curse, but a natural challenge like hunger or cold, met with effort. They viewed it as necessary pressure that builds depth. Like resistance in the gym, pain strengthens the soul's capacity when met with consistency and clarity. Endurance isn't waiting for hardship to pass. It's living with intention while it's present, maintaining your posture, speech, and actions with integrity. This practice, repeated, becomes your foundation. You learn you can act in hardship without sacrificing who you are. This realization makes you strong. The soul is trained through repetition. Each time you stand firm in pain, your character grows steadier. Each calm response, even while suffering, strengthens your sense of self. Endurance is built through daily discipline and revealed in moments of pressure. It's the path to resilience, the weight that transforms you. Chapter 4. Suffering with Dignity. Pain often brings shame. In suffering, people feel vulnerable, weak, or diminished, believing their struggles reflect personal failure. The Stoics rejected this. Pain is part of the human condition. It doesn't reduce your worth. What matters is how you act within it. Your response, not your state, defines your strength. Dignity in suffering comes from consistent behavior, choosing actions aligned with your values under pressure. It's being truthful when lying is easier, kind when you're wounded, and steadfast in your duties despite inner turmoil. These choices shape your character, build self-trust, and create a stable presence for others seeking guidance.
Marcus Aurelius often reflected on others' actions to guide his own, noting those who showed humility in illness, restraint in anger, and calm in failure. These examples proved virtue isn't tied to circumstances. They reminded him he could act with honor regardless of external events. You don't need to hide your pain or pretend it's absent. Let it be present while carrying yourself with strength. Keep your words thoughtful, your presence grounded, your behavior aligned with principles. This is how you stand upright in hardship. Let your actions speak clearly, reflecting the discipline you've practiced and the values you've chosen. When your behavior is steady, others draw strength from your example. You become reliable, a reminder that hardship doesn't have the final word. Your actions do. The Stoics believed that the strongest person is guided by reason, not impulse, even under pressure. This strength can't be taken by misfortune. It's built through choice and sustained by habit. Dignity is the visible result, a posture of the soul that acts with clarity and purpose. When the world is unsteady, your example matters more. When life is painful, your behavior matters most. Let your dignity be the quiet strength others remember,
the standard you return to as an anchor, keeping your character intact. Chapter 5. Pain and Purpose. Pain strips away distractions, revealing what matters. It sharpens focus, cutting through comfort, opinions, and conveniences. When pain strikes, the unnecessary fades, leaving only the people, values, and goals that carry meaning. In the Stoic view, pain clarifies. It dismantles illusions, clears false priorities, and forces reflection. It interrupts routine, asking whether your actions reflect what you truly believe. Pain invites alignment with your principles. In suffering, you're less likely to act impulsively. You begin to question whether your behavior matches your stated values, whether your life supports the person you want to be. These reflections are hard, but valuable, realigning your path. Ask, what does this pain reveal about my values? What am I holding on to that no longer serves me? What matters so much it hurts when threatened? These questions don't erase pain, but give it structure, helping you find lessons in discomfort and return to your core. The Stoics were clear. Life's purpose isn't comfort, but becoming someone who meets challenges with strength and wisdom. Pain reminds you of this, stripping away what's trivial and bringing urgency to your actions. Without struggle, it's easy to drift, acting on autopilot, relying on ease over effort. Pain halts this drift, demanding engagement with what's real. It challenges habits, thoughts, and reactions, closing the gap between what you believe and what you do. Pain also sets boundaries, curbing indulgence and highlighting areas needing work. Discomfort forces you to confront what must change, sparking action, physical, emotional, or mental. This response, shaped with intention, drives growth. You build patterns to handle challenges, adopting habits that strengthen your ability to face future trials. Strength is a skill, built through effort and responsibility for your behavior in hardship. Pain creates the environment for this growth, revealing what's reactive and inviting what's stable. It's where beliefs must become actions. Let pain focus you on what has lasting value, clarify your direction, and raise your standards. Let it sharpen self-awareness, confronting you with the reality of your choices.
Pain can be a guide, pointing to where alignment is needed. It offers a chance to rebuild around clarity, honesty, and strength. What no longer supports your growth can be released. What matters can be pursued with urgency. Through this, pain becomes a refining force, shaping your direction, habits, and identity. Chapter 6. Emotional Clarity Through Suffering. Pain lays bare your deepest feelings, stripping distractions to reveal your emotional patterns. In suffering, emotions surface: anger, sadness, fear, frustration, becoming clearer. This clarity is useful, showing what you value, where you're reactive, defensive, or fragile. The Stoics didn't reject emotions, but studied them, viewing them as signals, not commands. Fear signals a threat to something valuable. Anger points to a crossed boundary. Sadness indicates loss. These signals invite reflection. Is this emotion accurate? Is it helpful? Does it guide me toward reason or pull me away? Emotional clarity comes from creating space between feeling and action. In pain, this space is harder to maintain but more essential. Pausing to consider what you feel and then choosing how to act is the foundation of emotional discipline, built through practice. In suffering, take time to reflect. Write down your feelings, speak them calmly. Notice your body's reactions, your breath, posture, energy. Identify what amplifies or calms your response. These habits strengthen your ability to stay steady under pressure. Emotions don't weaken you. Unexamined emotions destabilize you. A Stoic trains to see, acknowledge, and then choose behavior aligned with principles. Pain becomes a teacher of emotional clarity, a mirror reflecting your inner state. When used this way, it sharpens insight, revealing where reactions stem from habit rather than awareness. The ability to step back and observe pain as it happens creates space for purposeful response. Over time, this builds calm, structured thinking. You recognize triggers and patterns, gaining leverage to change them. This practice fosters patience, valuable in high-pressure situations. You don't rush to fix everything or argue. You hold the moment, assess it, and choose when to act. This control is rare, earned through self-study and small adjustments. Each pause, reflection, and clear action builds inner trust. You become someone who doesn't crumble under pressure, a stability visible in your tone, posture, and decisions. Pain also fosters emotional maturity, teaching that intensity isn't depth. Clarity becomes more valuable than expression for its own sake. As you refine emotional patterns, you rely less on external validation, gaining confidence in processing and expressing emotions appropriately. Your presence becomes reliable, a source of order when others are unsteady. You hold your ground, observing without reacting, providing clarity through behavior. This presence earns respect, built through facing pain and learning from it. Let pain bring emotional clarity, teaching you to slow reactions, deepen observations, and refine self-understanding. Let it train your mind to stay rooted in your values, even as emotions rise, guiding you to respond with order, honesty, and strength. Chapter 7. Resilience as Daily Practice. Resilience isn't a fixed trait, it's a skill developed through repetition. The Stoics believed in daily mind training to meet life with dignity. This builds endurance, self-awareness, and the ability to remain effective in adversity.
Resilience starts with mindset. Each day is a chance to prepare for challenges. Marcus Aurelius wrote each morning, reminding himself the day would bring obstacles, not pessimism, but readiness. Expecting discomfort lets you meet it without surprise, preparing your mind to act with resilience instead of resistance. Daily practices support this preparation. Morning reflections create mental order. Physical discipline builds tolerance for discomfort, and mindful speech trains clarity under pressure. These habits reduce impulsiveness, create consistency, and make your life more structured, even in unpredictability. Resilience also involves recovery. Resilient people experience setbacks and emotional upheaval like anyone else. What sets them apart is their intentional return to balance. They pause, analyze what happened, and make practical adjustments. Recovery isn't automatic. It's built through habits like reflection, rest, and mental recalibration, restoring clear thinking and responsible action. Reflection is key. After a tough moment, review it. What triggered me? What reaction did I choose? Did it align with my values? What would I do differently? These questions build awareness, identifying patterns that weaken your behavior under stress. Rest is equally vital. Physical and emotional exhaustion reduces your ability to respond well. Creating space for sleep, solitude, and stillness allows your mind to reset, returning you to clarity. Recalibration realigns you with your values. Practices like journaling, prayer, nature walks, or breathing exercises remind you who you want to be and how you choose to act in adversity. These tools don't eliminate challenges, but refocus you on your purpose, enabling forward movement. Recovery reduces fear of future setbacks. When you've regained control before, you stop dreading upheaval, knowing you can face strain and return to order. This trust in your adaptability builds confidence, making you more willing to take responsibility under pressure. Apply your values through small, repeated actions. Act in line with your standards even when uncomfortable. Rise early when it's easier to linger. Speak honestly when silence is simpler. Maintain composure when irritation builds. These acts of inner training create a pattern of choosing principles over impulses, becoming your natural response over time. Let resilience be your routine, shaping how you sit, speak, and decide. Let it guide how you handle small discomforts, delays, and disappointments. Each act of control adds to your strength. Let every day be quiet preparation for bigger trials. When they come, you won't need to invent new responses. You'll act from the training you already carry. This is the structure of a resilient life. Steady, repeatable, deeply rooted. Chapter 8. Transforming pain into principle. Pain can lead to bitterness or wisdom. The outcome depends on how you interpret and respond to it. The Stoics chose to turn pain into principle, letting suffering refine their beliefs, sharpen their character, and deepen their understanding of life. To transform pain into principle, ask what the experience teaches. What lesson repeats? What truth is harder to ignore? What standard of behavior does this demand? Extracting principles from pain creates stability. You no longer react to every hardship, but follow a standard. Betrayal may strengthen your commitment to honesty. Injustice deepen your dedication to fairness. Loss reinforce gratitude for what remains. Each form of pain can lead to a higher way of living. Principles provide direction, clarifying decisions when emotions are loud and conditions unstable. The Stoics believed a well-lived life is built on principles tested through hardship, showing where virtue is real or merely theoretical.
Document your insights. Turn them into maxims. Repeat them in reflection. Apply them when tested. Over time, these principles become how you live, no longer requiring conscious recall. They become automatic. Your character is shaped by wisdom gained through experience. Pain often births your deepest convictions, forcing a collision between what you believe and how you live. It pushes values from theory to action. When you endure suffering, vague beliefs sharpen. You see clearly what you'll stand for and what no longer matters. This process strips away convenience, leaving only what's stable and lasting. Each trial tests your belief's strength. If a belief falters under pressure, question or reinforce it. Pain highlights what's fragile and what's solid, helping you refine priorities and rely less on fleeting opinions. It teaches you to separate preferences from principles. Use pain to define your values precisely. Write them down, speak them aloud, apply them under pressure. Let them be shaped by what you've endured, not just what you've read or imagined. Pain adds weight to your decisions, aligning your words and actions. Let it make your life more precise, intentional, and focused, replacing impulse with discipline and confusion with clarity. Let pain be where your life gains direction, a moment where discipline becomes principle, and every trial builds a stronger foundation for who you're becoming. Chapter 9. Leadership through suffering. Suffering reveals who people turn to when times are tough. In uncertainty, those who remain resilient become beacons for others. The Stoics saw leadership as earned through behavior, not granted by title. Pain hones this behavior, testing whether your actions match the standards you set for others. A leader shaped by hardship speaks from experience, not theory. They've faced weakness and practiced discipline, knowing the cost of collapse and the value of control. They carry themselves with presence under pressure, staying calm when others unravel. This resilience comes from repeated exposure to difficulty and a deep commitment to principles. Leadership through suffering is about example, not control. Others are drawn to someone who maintains order while others panic, who doesn't need to dominate, but remains consistent in actions and words. When people see you hold steady under pressure, they trust your direction, a trust earned through behavior.
Pain prepares you for this role by stripping illusions. You stop pretending to be invincible, learning to be vulnerable without being unstable. Meeting your pain with integrity makes you better equipped to guide others through theirs. You don't rush to fix everything. You provide structure, ask useful questions, and keep the environment grounded in action and accountability. A Stoic leader lives in a way that their life speaks for them, holding themselves to the same standards they expect from others. They show restraint, courage, and consistency, traits practiced, not performed. Let suffering prepare you for leadership, teaching you to stay upright when others falter, firm without harshness, calm without avoidance, honest without aggression. Let your behavior be a guide others rely on, not because you sought attention, but because you lived in a way that earned it.
Chapter 10. The Final Crucible. Every experience of pain shapes your character. By the end of this journey, what remains is no longer raw, it's tested, tempered, strengthened. The final chapter of pain's influence is integration, weaving all lessons into a life reflecting wisdom, resilience, and calm. The Stoics believed philosophy is for living, not just reading. When pain has left structure, clarity, and principle, the next step is consistency, applying what you've learned in every role you hold: friend, parent, leader, learner, citizen. Daily life is the testing ground. Noise, delays, criticism, loss, and failure will arise. These don't need to disrupt you. They remind you to return to your training. Every moment is a chance to practice. Maintain your posture, guard your speech, order your thoughts, adjust your course. The final crucible of character demands humility. You'll make mistakes, moments when habits overtake awareness, when you react with anger, distraction, or fear. These aren't permanent failures, but signals. Pause, return to your principles, and use these moments to strengthen discipline. Pain will continue to guide. Every discomfort, conflict, or tough choice brings a new test, not punishment, but tools for alignment. When you stray, pain pulls you back through discomfort or resistance. Use these signals to recalibrate mentally and physically. Mastery isn't perfection, it's direction. You keep moving toward what you've chosen to stand for, knowing the cost of betraying your standards. Past missteps aren't guilt, but guidance, teaching you to step with care, listen with awareness, speak with responsibility. With reflection, you gain depth. Your courage shifts from force to consistency. Your honesty becomes refined. You speak to clarify, not impress. Your presence reflects principles without needing explanation. This life takes time to build, and pain often accelerates it. Let pain be part of your identity, not a wound, but a tool of formation. Let it remind you of what you've carried, endured, and stayed true to in moments that could have broken you. Let it sharpen your focus on what matters, distinguishing what's solid from what's empty. You'll face hardship again. It's the rhythm of a full life. Loss, tension, uncertainty, and fatigue are part of it, not signs of failure. You'll navigate them with tools you've built, responding with calm from practice centering, adjusting from structure, not panic. You've aligned your choices with principles, refined your emotions for clarity, and embraced discomfort as part of growth. This work is quiet, personal, hard, but it's the foundation of a stable life. It's the form pain leaves, not decoration, but structure. Calm, focused, consistent. You carry it into every role, conversation, and challenge. Others may not see the process,
but they'll feel the result. Let pain shape you into someone resilient, deepening your awareness, sharpening your actions, clarifying your intentions. Let it build a life that doesn't collapse in loss, drift in chaos, or abandon what's just, useful, and true.